the mood of the club and getting playing Kentucky again so soon to having just played them, and then the chance to represent Auburn in the tournament?
Yeah, I think about 2017 when we played Ole Miss a 2 out of 3 series here, and then had to play them the first game of the tournament. It was kind of a must-win, and like I said, I think everybody in the league's fighting for the must-win right now. At that time, I felt like we had to win a game in the tournament, and Keegan Thompson and Casey Mize split that game and found some success that day. We found ourselves in a little bit of a different situation, but at the same time, we have an opportunity to keep making ourselves improve our resume and bolster that by playing well. And then just by competing the last 3 games in Lexington, I'm hoping once we landed back from Lexington on Saturday, some prep work yesterday, a good practice on our field today before we head up to Birmingham, I think our guys are really interested. We felt like we left some stuff on the table. Pitched it about at the same level, defensively in the range, both of those. But offensively, we're not in the range where we've been for the first 9 weeks of conference play from an evaluation standpoint. So, some of our best guys didn't have as many hits or the type at bats that we wanted. But now we'll move to a natural surface. We'll move to hopefully a home game for us, even though it's a neutral site, and hopefully we'll move to a ton of Auburn fans in the area to come pull us through and see if we can come back. And this is not about redemption or revenge, and people has been tapping me on the shoulder. This is about execution, and can we go back from our practice today? Our practice today has a lot to do with what success we'll have tomorrow and what adjustments are. So we're looking for the one thing as a team, but really collectively, each individual person is looking for that one thing where they can tighten their screw down just a little bit and make that adjustment. And so the tournament is an opportunity for us. And I've done everything in my power with Auburn being this close to the SEC tournament site for our fans, for our league, for our program to make this tournament important. We'd love to win and get an opportunity to join the double elimination portion of the tournament and stay and make a run. That's a box we haven't checked since I've been here, is making a run at that tournament championship. So those are our intentions, getting on the bus and headed to Hoover today.
What's your pitching plan for Tuesday, and then if you win, going into Wednesday?
Yeah, I just look at some guys that really worked a lot. Out of the bullpen, I thought Chase Alsop threw Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday, so I want to give him a break. That's still a young pitcher that was competitive for us last week. I think he needs till Wednesday. We didn't get to play on on Thursday, game 1 of the series. We had to do a doubleheader Friday. Both of our starters threw in excess of 70 pitches. I think Barnett was 71. I think Bright was 79, right at the 80 pitch mark. So we'd like to hold them another day too. So if we can earn the right not to use those 3, we feel like outside of Gonzalez, that would be 4 guys. We think everybody else is available. I'm going to do it a little bit different tomorrow, where to keep all our bullpen pieces in their normal situations. Sheehan's a guy that could absolutely come back and pitch, because he'd be in his role. Swilling, Isabel, are guys that we absolutely could use. We only used Burkhalter once in the series, so we feel like our bullpen's in a decent shape by pulling Alsop out. But I want to get off to a good start, and I wanted somebody that probably got experience, that has pitched well at Hoover before, is on our legacy team, one of the leaders of our ball club. So we're going to try to open the ball game with Carson Skipper. And I like his strikeout to walk ratio. I like him in the bigger park. We're struggling to find a place to put him in our bullpen right now, and that sounds crazy with how much success he's had for us. And so since we don't have that piece of where to put him in the bullpen, he pitched great last year when we qualified for the tournament against Ole Miss. He pitched great, so we're going to try to get things started. I think our players are going to be excited for Skipper to open this ball game, get through the lineup one time, and then get to our bullpen, which we've used a lot here lately. So hopefully they're ready. But Skipper will be kind of a dark horse call, but one that we're kind of excited to throw out there tomorrow.
It shows that you have a lot of trust in him as a veteran. After he had a little bit of a rough outing on Saturday at Kentucky, going right back to him against the same team.
Yeah. And I went and talked to him. Sometimes you talk to your players, sometimes you don't. I thought that was one where I needed to explain myself to him. That was a 1-0 ball game when we cranked it back up from the weather delay. And I just thought that was the game there. We only had one base runner in the first inning when we scored our run. And we didn't have another base runner until we walked out there after the weather delay. So for whatever reason, scoring one run in game one, and then at that point in the ball game, in the back half of that game, having only scored one, there wasn't a lot of wiggle room. So whether it's Skipper on the mound or Greg Maddox on the mound or whoever it was, if you felt like you had a different matchup, you thought the game was right there. Unfortunately, we were right. And we tried to keep that a closer, tighter ball game, and really wanted Armstrong to throw to the number 7, the right on right there. And ended up walking him, and then a couple of hits and balls got through there. Kentucky did a nice job, but my trust in Skipper hadn't stopped. I think the situation robbed him of a lengthier outing, if you will. And he got ambushed on the first pitch as soon as he come in that ball game, so we started with the leadoff double. But nonetheless, yeah, he's still 5-2 for us this year. He's still a senior. He still has an Auburn degree in hand. He's still somebody that this team will get fired up for. So, and it could have been a lot of guys. We've had Copeland, we've had Jordan Armstrong has thrown the last couple of midweeks, but at this time of year, this is a good time for us to see it as an opportunity to build ourselves, to win, try to be in games and win them. But this is a chance to kind of feel like backs against the wall when you have to win. That's how it's going to be from this point forward. And if you're going to be challenged, I'm ready to go down with the guys that have done it before and been in the frame before. And I think collectively, as I ask around our staff, our leadership, and some of our players, we're all pretty excited about Skipper.
You like to divide a season. You divide a game into thirds, divide a season into thirds. This is that third, that start of that postseason. How much fun is this time, like you said, where every game is so big?
Yeah, I got to make it fun. Coach Baird come out today to practice. He's around the batting cage, and he just made sure to shake me, shake me by my BP top and say, enjoy this. And there's been some good reminders of, you just get so invested in the frame that you always see a game off. This game got stopped. This game was in a good place here. If we could have got one more here. I do think it's normal, but I've got to do a good job of conveying that to our players to have a blast. We have the SEC Player of the Year in this ball club. We've won 20 of our last 30 games. We're 20-10 over our last 30 ball games. It's been a very consistent team. I think only Tennessee and Texas A&M are the only two teams in our league that have done more. We're tied for the third most wins in the Southeastern Conference. We've done a lot of good things and been a pretty consistent ball club this year. Never lost more than 2 ball games. So I've trusted them. They've earned the trust. They bounced back. It's been a good club, a fun ride. We need to have a blast tomorrow night. But again, the results will be coming down to execution. And I felt so good about our offense consistently all year. This past weekend was the first time where we were just that slow offensively, that I'm really interested in our at-bats tomorrow. So I'm not making too big a deal out of it. I'm really interested in our at-bats tomorrow, because that's been a consistent theme of us being in games, staying in games, being able to come back, if you will. But we got to have better at-bats than we did against this same club, a few days ago.
Sonny being co-player of the year, I think that's the third Auburn player in 25 years.
Yeah.
Another one's right over here, and then in 2010. Can you just sum up the year he had and how deserving he was of that?
Yeah, but what you just mentioned, if I can say Tim Hudson and Hunter Marsh, that should tell us all what accomplishment that is by Sonny DeShera. Just, 2 great players in our program. I wasn't coaching long enough to get to recruit Tim, but Hunter was probably the first big recruit, the biggest recruit I'd had to date as a college baseball coach. And he set that whole thing up for that 2010 team, which was remarkable. That was a 20-10. The last time, 20-10 in conference, the last time we hosted here at Auburn. Sonny's done that for us. And, this is coaches voted. You can't vote for your own players. We actually voted for Dylan Cruz, I do believe. Just an exceptional player. As soon as he finishes college, we feel like he's going to be in big leagues in months, not years, for them to share that. And when you start breaking those numbers down, the biggest thing for me, as great as Dylan Cruz is, and Sonny getting this award, is Sonny was walked 34 more times. What could he have done in those at-bats? I mean, this guy, what he has meant to our team is just immeasurable, and for our league and our coaches, especially to recognize that is awesome. And Sonny will receive stuff good. He's been a great teammate, a great player. He's got a great brand made for himself in just 1 year in our program. But what a mark! But that puts the award in context when you say Tim Hudson and Hunter Morris are the only other two that have won that in an Auburn uniform. That's pretty impressive.